It's officially been a full... What is this score? What does Scorn doing? What does Scorn doing? Anyways, let's talk about Witch Queen. It has been a month since this expansion first came out. And yeah, I just wanted to make a video giving my thoughts on this experience. What did I think about this expansion? Do I think it's good? Do I think it's the worst thing ever? Do I think it's pretty okay? Do I think it's the best thing that ever happened for Destiny ever? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. But before I give my thoughts, I did talk about how, in general, I expected this expansion to at least be better than Beyond Light. Like, there's no way it would be worse or as much content as Beyond Light, or lack of content Beyond Light that brought for us, which is not saying much. But I at least was excited about this expansion because I knew that it was going to be at least better than Beyond Light, and which is true. It is. It very much is. But that, again, that's not really saying too much because, yeah, Beyond Light was kind of I mean, the raid was good. Story kind of short. Kind of just Stasis, well, it was fun to play with in PvE. Dealing with in PvP, no. But yeah, now that it's officially been a month with Witch Queen, I am safe to say that this is by far my favorite. That Scorn sunk through the ground. There's a lot of quicksand in the Throne World, I guess. Yep, see, there goes another one. Anyways, Witch Queen is by far my favorite expansion in Destiny history. Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. But Chibi, Taken King is really good. Yes, indeed. Honestly, one way I can still say that Taken King is better than Witch Queen is, well, there was actual PvP content. Like, new maps. I think it was at least 6 new maps that was dropped in with the Taken King. Oh, you spin. And how many we get in Witch Queen? None. Oh, well, we got some that returned, of course. Whoa! I keep forgetting about that. And we will be getting some new PvP content as the seasons go by. One brand new map, one D1 remake, which it's something. But other than that, though, everything about Witch Queen when it comes to the raid, the story, the crafting, the crafting, the weapons, the amount of weapons, the exotics, everything is super nice. And they did a great job with it. I loved the Legend campaign. I think that this needs to be the norm when it comes to these big expansions, is that there should be a Legend version of the campaign. Because I'm not saying that they should remove the classic one if people want to play on a casual stroll where they just kind of listen to the story. They don't have to sweat their guardian off going through the story. I get that. There's people that want different experiences, and that's a-okay. For me, doing the Legend campaign, I've done it solo. I've done it co-op. I can't wait to upload, actually, my solo experience. It was a lot of fun. I still am working on that to upload, but it was so good. I enjoyed everything about it. And plus, the best thing about that was it helped with the grind. You got 1520 armor, which was 20 levels above the start of the power grind. So when I would normally have to grind up to that 20 points, it was already given to me. And to do the raid, you had to be at least 1530 for contest mode. So, I mean, if your artifact was already at plus 10, and you got that 1520 armor, you're already good to go. That's amazing. I love that. Please do that more. I do still think that power grinds need to be looked at and changed because they are still pretty tedious. I don't mind them in expansions, but they still can be kind of... It kind of takes away what you're doing in the game that you would much rather do, like grinding for weapons and armor stats and stuff like that, that you're focused on a number next to your guardian instead of the things that you should care about. So, yeah, that's I've talked about power level and stuff being annoying in many other videos. But yeah, the story was it grabbed me each mission. Like every mission felt interesting, and having those mini bosses made it very interesting. There was like dungeon mechanics to some of them too. It was nice. Like it didn't feel like, oh, here's just a knight with a yellow bar that you melt in 2 seconds and that's all you got to do. Like some of them you had to do something to allow you to do DPS like it was a dungeon. That was great. Good. And then not only that, but they allow you to do these weekly missions that have different difficulties, and you can get high stat armor. You can get Ascendant Alloy to drop as well. You can replay the story missions with modifiers and stuff. Make it more difficult, more interesting. Like, nice. They have also the this thing, but the preservation is also there, which was interesting. That was the mission that they introduced after the raid was complete. Play through it. There was a lot of lore that's in the game that you can listen to, which is amazing. Wellspring. So for me, I do kind of like it, but I feel like where it becomes a problem is the worth of it, of doing it. Like doing it on master difficulty. I just don't feel like I'm getting enough out of it when it comes to loot. They did fix the weapon drops. That's good. But still, I don't know. Compared to the Psyops, I think the Psyops, which is seasonal, so I'm not going to try and talk about seasonal content. Maybe I'll save that for a different Chibi hour. Just mainly talking about Witch Queen without the seasonal stuff. But I think the Psyops is a little bit more fun to do than the Wellspring, but that's just me. And yet, Wellspring is exactly what I like, where there's just a lot of chaos and such. It's just, I don't know, the loot tied to it is kind of eh. And of course, it was annoying trying to get the resonance stuff out of it. What really surprised me, though, is we got 2 new strikes, and both of them are very good, including the one about Scorn. Why did I say Scorch? Scorn. That's how you know you did a good job, because I don't like Scorn. But the strike was actually kind of fun. I liked, instead of just being immune to just be immune to do something to get rid of the immune phase of the boss, you were sent to a part of the strike that you had to get through to the end and kill the Scorn Captain, and then you were done. Go away. And then you could start DPS again. It was cool. Not looking forward to dealing with it in Grandmaster, of course, because that's where things get a little bit more chaotic, for sure. But still, I was pleasantly surprised to see 2 new strikes, and both of them are good. The other thing, the Void 3.0, is super cool. I love it. Granted, yes, it's pretty OP. They've already started doing some tweaks with it, which is great. Normally, we would have to wait, I mean, a whole year, like with Stasis, to see those things get changed. But I'm really excited to see what Solar 3.0 is going to look like, because I really do hope I see Combustion come back for Golden Gun. I don't know why it's not there. Sad. But I'm liking the Void 3.0. I really am. When it comes to the raid, I think the raid is one of my favorites. I know that it's still the honeymoon phase of the raid, so people will at some point get irritated about it, I'm sure, being like, oh, I'm done with it, it's boring. But I don't think so. I don't think that this raid, the Vowed Disciple, will have that issue. I think that it genuinely is a really, really good raid. And I think it's one of those raids that is pretty easy to teach new players as well. Like, I don't think that it's too difficult. Deep Zone Crypt was kind of one of those raids as well, where you could have one person that has no idea what they're doing, but it's very easy to kind of just tell them what to do or give them like roles that don't require too much, which is great. The challenges just recently started. The first one that they did was you just didn't kill the champions on the first encounter. Well, you had to kill them within like 5 seconds of each other, which there's 3, 1 per obelisk thing. But challenges are challenges. Whatever. Where I don't know yet, but I'm gonna save that for a separate video. Is the master version of the raid. If you know me, I did not like the Master Vault of Glass because it made no sense to me. Why did you have to go through the entire raid on Master to not get any adepts until you got to the encounter of the boss, and you had to do the challenge as well, and obviously it being Master, and then you would get the adepts. And if you wanted to buy more adepts, you had to go through like 40 spoils per thing, and that's the other thing, you weren't getting more spoils either out of that. So I don't know. I'll give my thoughts on the Master Vow when it is released, but so I'm gonna kind of leave that to the side for a separate video. But the Throne World, which I am in right now, is phenomenal. Worm, like, I think that I remember a while back there was an interview with Bungie where they were asked the question, is the patrol zone bigger than Europa? And they kind of did their, you know, PR speak where it's like, oh, we think that this patrol zone is one of our best, which is PR speak for it did smaller. And of course, like, people were asking me like, oh, is that like a concern? I'm like, not really, because I mean, if you look at Europa, it's just snow. Like, it can be big all it wants, but it's not actually interesting if there's not really much content going on. Where did my freaking... What did you just eat my Nova Bomb? Okay. But it was kind of like the lost sectors was like probably the main thing that made it interesting, but yeah, it wasn't... There just wasn't enough going on. The Throne World kind of runs into the same issue where you're just kind of walking around and there's like nothing going on. You're just kind of roaming around, but it's the most beautiful patrol zone that I've seen in a while. It's super cool in its design. There's so many twists and turns where it makes the story interesting. Like I said, like every mission felt like unique. It didn't feel like, oh, we're just going backwards in a strike. It felt new. If you don't know that joke about the going backwards in a strike thing, that's been used in like in the Crotus story. I remember with where we were restoring a mission to get like Omnigul and stuff. But the patrol zone is good. It's good. It's unique. It's good. It's not boring. I don't think that it's has any issues. It's a patrol zone. Honestly, I still wait for the day that we would see a end game patrol. What I mean by that is like where there's difficulty choices, like how we have it now, where there's like hero, legend, and master. Except there would be maybe a legend and then the regular, which this would be the regular, and then the legend would have like modifiers and stuff. It would be a public server thing still. But you can chance on getting, like, adept loot from the patrol and such. I don't know. Something to make it more interesting and make you feel like, wow, exploring a world with difficulty. Kind of like the Legend campaign, but with just open world. I don't know. Weapons, amazing. Let's talk about the Glaive. The Glaive is... Well, they're playing pretty safe with PvP. Like, it's not... I wouldn't say it's OP. I wouldn't even say that it's like bad. Like it's nerfed to the ground kind of bad. I think that it's just fun. It's fun to play with. It's not, like I said, it's not OP. In PvE though, it's super, super cool. You can make some really good builds with it. I love the whole shield mechanic. I think they did a great job with that. A lot of the weapons in this expansion are really cool. I have yet to get the glaives, the exotic ones. I hear great things about them, and I'm excited to play with them when I finally get those. But yeah, I think weapon-wise, it's looking really good. But more importantly, there's an actual kind of a vendor refresh where the amount of weapons that are dropping in the raid and Crucible, Gambit, etc., like all added together, I can safely say that there's just so many weapons, so much variety that I'm not running into the issue that I had with like Beyond Light, where there was just like a few weapons, not enough. Like, I think that Beyond Light introduced around like 20 weapons or something, or around there. And it was kind of disappointing. Because you would think in an expansion you would get a whole arsenal of weapons for every vendor, like how Forsaken was, but it was not like that. What the Worm doing? Even they're confused. They're like, okay, I'm so sorry. This is why the flip is going. And this is why I like doing my Chibi Hours live. Live commentary. What was that? Now, that is why this expansion is a 10 out of 10. Because I don't know what the flip that was. The worm was spinning and then... okay. Yeah, so the weapons... yeah, they're good. There's a lot of variety. It doesn't... like, I have so many different roles to go for. When it comes to weapon crafting, originally I was saying that every weapon should be in the weapon crafting, but I'm realizing that that's probably not a good idea. Because I feel like we would run into the same issue that we did in Destiny 2 Vanilla. If you remember, you get one better devils and then you're done. Everyone was running with the same stuff. And that's exactly what would happen with weapon crafting. Everyone would just be running the same god roll of every single weapon. You would not see enough variety. So I know a lot of people would like to have everything to have crafting, but... oh, I did moth. But I think that I originally was like, oh, every weapon should be in weapon crafting, but I'm realizing that would be a bad idea. But granted, though, there needs to be a little bit better on either the amount of drops of the weapon or focusing engrams like that, kind of like what they have with Gambit, but with every weapon, including new weapons. I don't understand why you can focus an engram to specific weapons, but it's only the old stuff, like the SMG and stuff, like not the new, I believe it's an auto rifle. Like, you can't do anything with that, which I think that was a little bit, okay, like, no. Like, that's where I would say that'd be fine. Like, no weapon crafting to the weapon is okay, as long as that there's a way to at least focus a engram, an umbral, or just like stock up those Crucible engrams and then just turn those engrams in for a specific item that you want. Armor, weapons, whatever it may be. I think that would do a whole lot better than just having you have complete RNG to every single thing that you're getting, from the drops to the rolls that you get, because there is a lot of different combinations of rolls. Like, I think I talked about this with the SMG. There's like 20 perks, or no, not 20. It was like 10 or 15 or something like that on the last row, and same like 10-15 perks on the second last. And it's just like the odds of you getting the exact roll that you want is like, you know, a 0.1% chance, 0.5, like it's just, or 1% chance. It's just very low. Like, it's too RNG, and that's even if you get the weapon that drops. So like that's where I can say, okay, Bungie needs to look into that. Because if you're grinding for certain weapons specifically, it can be a pain if you're not going to get the roll or close to the roll that you want. But there should still be a bit of RNG, so it's not as easy as like the weapon crafting. I think that would be fine. But The weapon crafting is already getting tweaks to it. I'm not going to give too many thoughts about it because I already knew that weapon crafting was going to be a little bit messy because they're testing the waters with it, like seeing feedback, seeing how they can improve it going forward, because obviously this is something that they're going to have for forever. I'm going to guess that they're going to have all the time with future expansions and seasons, which is good. It's good. So where I think that the issues start to come in is the adepts, like the master raid adepts not having crafting to them, but the regular ones do. It just because it makes the regular versions obsolete, and then it kind of makes you scratch your head, like, why is there weapon crafting to the weapons that you can easily get, which is the non-adepts, but there isn't to the ones that are way harder to get. Because, like I said, it turns into the whole, you're not getting that many weapons, you're not getting the specific loot you want as many times, because it's 20 or 40 spoils per purchase, and you only get one of that weapon per character on that encounter. So I don't know. Like I said, we'll talk about Master Raid when it comes out and I experience it and such, and then I'll give my thoughts on it. But yeah, everything else is good. Like, I think that they did a good job here. I think that where they need to do better is trying to ensure that every year, which is going to be tough, there is a little bit more focus on the core playlists as well, or, you know, tweaking them to change them to be something that they can do every year. What I mean by this is Gambit is looking pretty messy. A lot of people don't really care about it anymore. Even I, the Gambit guy, like, I'm disappointed of invading and just dealing with tracking rockets all the time, or cheese. Like, it's not the way that I like it. It's disappointing. There's a lot of cheese to it. I'd much rather see it turn into like a horde mode kind of thing, like a firefight from Halo as Gambit. But like having every year at least, like, which they did 2 new strikes, but they should also have like maybe like 3 or 4 new PvP maps and then 2 Gambit maps. I think that would work wonders. Or the idea that I still stand about seasonal content is that every season would have 1 PvP map, 1 Crucible map, or 1 Gambit map, and 1 strike. And they would be released not at the same time. They would be like, here's a week where you get the PvP map. Here's a week you get the Gambit map. Here's a week where you get the strike. I fell off the map. No, I didn't. I saved myself. Never mind. I did fall off the map. Like, I think that would be a good idea. But I know that would be pretty tough, too, the amount of content that they would have to do. But it's an idea, I guess. It's just, yeah, like, now that I'm doing core activities like Iron Banner, Crucible stuff, like even Trials, it's disappointing to be playing on maps that have been around forever and not getting anything new to play around with. It is disappointing. And same thing with Gambit, like going into Gambit and already it's messy with all the OP stuff that people run around with, but also there being like no new maps. So it's disappointing. But Vanguard Strikes is looking okay because there's new strikes. Hell, they added the whatever stuff to it, the Cabal thing. So at least there's more stuff in there. So I don't know. And yeah, I mean, like I said, this expansion is really good. I've been talking about this for a good while, but I genuinely think this expansion is my favorite. And now I'm even more excited about the future when it comes to Lightfall, but even more importantly, Final Shape. I am super excited because if this is what they were able to do with Witch Queen, I can't imagine what they can do with the next expansions. I'm hyped. I'm excited, and I think that all of you should too, because I think that there's a lot of reason to be excited. And through proof of what Bungie has been capable of doing. And I want to thank everyone who has worked on this expansion. Like, thank you so much, because this is great. I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying my return into playing more Destiny with this expansion. I'm not like, oh, you know, I'll get through it and then I'll just kind of put it to the side. No, I want to play more. There's so many other things that I want to do in this game. So, yeah, thank you so much, Bungie. You did good. You did good. But I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, do you agree? Do you think this expansion is really good? Do you think it's one of the best? If not, you know, explain. Like, tell me what you think. Do you think that they could do maybe something better? Like, just share your thoughts. I want to know in the comments down below. But if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. We have lots and lots of content on this channel, and I plan on doing way more in very shortly. So be there. Or not. It's your choice. But thank you so much for listening. That's it for me. T-pose. Thanks for watching.